So I was up pretty late the other night watching YouTube, and it was crazy. I was watching the old Metallica 30th anniversary concert where they brought Jason Newsted back. They brought a bunch of old members, a lot of special guests. It was really cool to watch. But there's one particular video where they played Battery, and it was funny because they had two bass players on stage, and the end was so cool because when it kicks into the fast on-beat part, Rob's just headbanging like crazy and the crowd's going nuts. And all of a sudden it was such a great moment. But then you hear James kind of cackling like the Wicked Witch of the West or something. And then Kirk drops his pick and he hits like the worst chord when they stop and do that last final hit. So it's kind of a funny thing to see such a cool moment, and all of a sudden it sort of falls apart. But then, of course, they bring it all back together at the end. Anyhow, watching that reminded me of how complicated the galloping part in Battery was for me for so many years. So what I wanted to do is I wanted to break it down today, kind of like I did for Fight Fire with Fire. A lot of people were asking about this riff as well. So I think the best thing to do is to play it slow to a straight beat. That always seems to get the sound into people's minds the correct way, or at least the feel of it. Then when you go to play the riff over the actual beat, which we will also do, it's going to fit better and it's going to make more sense because the beat does not change like people think it does. A lot of people think they go from the offbeat to the onbeat and so on. When I say offbeat, it just goes back to old terminology we used to use when I was in a teenage metal band. That means that the offbeat would be where the snare is on the and. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. The onbeat would be where the snare is on the count. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. A lot of people think that the beat shifts right in the middle, but I'm going to prove that it doesn't. Okay, so let's start off with a slow tempo, straight beat, and let's see what happens. Did you guys notice that halfway through I switched how I played a power chord because I'm like, oh yeah, it's Metallica. I have to do first finger pinky like James does. You don't have to, but my brain just goes into Metallica mode sometimes when I do that. That makes this part very interesting, by the way, because I use my pinky and index finger. Then I go to these two, then I go back to this. It's a little bit strange feeling. So the important part of this area is that when you come back to the 7/5 here, the E and the G, you want to make sure that's accented because that's actually the next one beat. So it's like, that's where a lot of people think the beat switches. So you got to make sure to emphasize that while you're playing it slow so you really feel where that downbeat is. So let me do that slow. So I hit it a little bit harder. I'm not sure if you could really hear it with distortion, but I really was. All right, so with this slow straight beat, hopefully you guys can hear it in that new way. Let's do it slow, but in the closer to the actual beat. Did it sound different to you guys now that it was slowed down and that you've already heard it in a straight feel? So hopefully the things are shifting. If you were having trouble with this before, hopefully the idea of where the beat lands is shifting in your mind. Before we speed it up, be sure to go back and listen to the two examples again, play along with them at the slower speeds, and maybe what I'll do is at the end of this video is I'll make the drum tracks available, the backing tracks, so that you guys could practice along with it, all right? I have to remember to do that. Sometimes I make promises in videos and then I upload them and I forget. So, okay, let's try this at faster speed but straight. Okay, not quite full speed, but at least it's giving you a little bit of a better idea of what it's like at a quicker speed so that your ear doesn't have to all of a sudden jump to the real thing. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get a little bit faster, add the closer to the real beat, and see if it starts to make sense in any way. Now what happened to me is I would play it full speed, or at least close to full speed, and then I would go back to the slow version. And suddenly something just clicked and it locked in for me. So it's kind of cool. Even if you attempt to play it fast and you fail, come back down, sort of like with a metronome when you're practicing speed. You know, you get so fast you can't really do it. Then all of a sudden you bring it down like 10 or 20 beats per minute. Suddenly you feel like a master. So try that trick if it doesn't quite work for you right away. But make sure to really hear it the correct way at the slower tempos first, all right? Okay, I'll try to remember, like I said, to put the backing tracks for you guys, all 4 of them, and I'll add bass and guitar. I'll keep them in the mix for you guys so you can feel like you're playing along to the full band. All right, we'll see you guys either in a live stream soon. I've been doing a lot of those lately, so keep an eye out for them. I'm going to do one tonight. It's Friday the 13th, so I think I'm going to wear my Jason mask while I do it. As long as I can breathe, we'll see. And we'll see you there, or we'll see you at the next video. Okay, thanks. Bye.